Believe it or not, and what baffles me is people keep coming to me and say, they've invested and then come and ask me, well, how do you make it work? How are you paying these returns? Baffles me they would ask that question. Right, so let me explain. I'm going to take you through, this is a scheme we're looking at right now. We haven't committed to buying it, but we're looking to buy it. The land is £20.8 million to buy the land. When I buy that land, it's got outline planning permission. It's got planning permission, but not the planning permission we will want. It's nowhere near efficient. When I buy that land, I'll go and borrow from a bank 65%. Maximum they allow me to borrow. Right? And we've got an abundance of banks willing to lend us that money. And I'll be charged about 7% for that. We will then invest £7 million from our investors to make up the shortfall to £20.8 million. And what I'm going to do for this slide, I'm going to take you through it and I'm going to assume that I'm paying a 25% in 12 months, right, to the investors. Just make the numbers really easy, right? So the £7.2 million comes in from the investors, takes me, with the bank debt, takes me to me 20.8. I now own the site. I then sell it to an institution for 98.35 million. We've calculated what the institution would pay for that based on what they paid previously. So I've now got a deal there to sell it for 98.3 million pound. The land's cost me 20.8, and we forecasted the build is going to be about 67 million. Total cost of 87.8 million pound. Everybody with me? We're making a gross profit of 10.5 million. I've borrowed 7.2 million pound from the bank. It's a bridge to buy, then the institution give me that money back and then give me the rest of the development finance. Yeah? That cost me 7% over 12 months. I'm saying it's 12 months before I pay them back. It shouldn't be, but let's say it is because I've got delays in planning. That's cost me 473,000. I've then borrowed £7 million from investors. And I'm going to pay 25% on that, which we're not doing, by the way, but let's assume it did, right? That's another 1.8 million quid. I'm still making £8.2 million profit. What does that really mean? On an £87 million project, that my cost of finance to develop an £87 million project, which I sell for £98 million, cost me £2.2 million in interest. That is 2.6% cost of funds. Who can borrow money at 2.6%? Why? Because the £67 million the institution lend us or give us to build the apartment block is free. There's no interest charge. There's no interest charge. My cost of funds are 2.6%. Let's do traditional. So now I'm not going to sell it to an institution. I want to buy the land. I want to build it using bank finance. Yeah? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to sell it to buy-to-let investors, and we're going to, we're going to take some sales risk, and I'm going to borrow everything I possibly can. So I'm going to finance the whole lot, yeah? Traditional way of doing it. So the total project is 87.8 million. I'm going to have to borrow 80.2 million pound. I have to borrow it to build it. Interest at 7%. Oh, by the way, this is excluding anything to yourselves, because I still need to plug the gap, right? But just at 7%, the traditional way of doing development, it cost me £5.6 million. 7% cost of funds. It's actually more if I plug the gap with investors' money, right? Guess what? Route 1, I have no sales risk. Route 2, I've got sales risk. So the traditional route, cost of funds is 7% with sales risk. Our route, cost of funds is 2.6%, no sales risk. No sales risk. It's all about leveraging it through the institutions. Whatever we take, in order, that 35% to acquire the site is then leveraged. 10 times with the institutional size, with the size of the scheme, at 0% interest. That's how we make it work. That's how we put your money to work. Our cost of funds are 2.6%.